Is Mali Timbuktu. Make sure that you have your source grid up so you have your claims because we're looking to find evidence for our claims. And so for this document, we're probably going to find some evidence that might support West African demonstrate their power in a variety of ways. We might find some things talking about West African West African empires became powerful through controlling trade and resources. And another one that we're going to see here, West Africa was an advanced society. So this would be society and culture. So this is like a dark blue. We have orange, and we have this lighter blue. So have this open. And if you don't have it open, pause the video, open it now. And then we're going to need headphones. We're first going to look at these two videos. So click Timbuktu, Hidden Treasures. You're going to be taking notes. As you're taking notes on this video, anything that talks about like major trading route for salt and gold, how empires became rich, maybe why Timbuktu was a target for conquerors.
ClickUp is an all-in-one product.
Sorry about that. There's going to be a section on the Golden Age. What was the Golden Age? What did it do for learning? What type of subjects were affected or impacted through this Golden Age? It talks about textbooks. Talks about like a center of learning or different areas becoming a center of learning. Timbuktu became a center of learning. So as you go through, you're going to be highlighting, not highlighting, but taking notes about Timbuktu. Anything that touches kind of on the economy, trade, learning, power, something that might be evidence for any of the claims that we've covered. And then you're going to be going to the next video, libraries, universities in Timbuktu. So watch that video, taking some notes. You'll see that there are a lot of universities. I think they said over 11 universities in the city. It talks about manuscripts, books that were a property of families, a lot of knowledge on medicine. And so it kind of shows the value of books and kind of the current status of a lot of the knowledge in Timbuktu, and it's kind of not being preserved as well. But you can see through these videos that Timbuktu was a center for learning, a lot of knowledge, a lot of culture, and with knowledge becomes power. So just taking notes, watching the videos. When you're done watching the videos, come back to this and push play. Now that you watch the videos, we're going to be looking at the Mali Empire, reading this document. Again, we're looking for information. So you can go back and look at, claims. West African empires became powerful through controlling trade and resources. That's maybe a claim that we can focus in on. Politics and government, demonstrate power in a variety of ways. And then we'll see some things for society and culture as well. In our videos you watch, having an advanced society, definitely having like universities or places of like centers of learning kind of shows a society being more advanced. So that could be evidence from the video that supports society and culture as well. So let's take a look now. So I'll read through this, and then I might give you some hints, point some things that may work for evidence. And so let's get started. So established by the King Sudata Kita, known as the Lion King, the Mali Empire brought wealth, culture, and Islamic faith to West Africa. From the 13th to the 17th century, West Africa was a home to the great Mali Empire. Established by King Sudata Kita, or the Lion King, the kingdom united several smaller kingdoms near the upper Niger River. Protected by a well-trained imperial army and benefiting from being in the middle of the trade routes. So we have well-trained army showing power by strength. Okay, power by strength. And then, so that's how do kings show their power in a variety of ways? By having well-trained army, and they benefit it by being in the middle of the trade routes. And if you remember, they actually took over these trade routes. They took over these trade routes by power, and that allows them to become wealthy. And so you're kind of looking at evidence. We have evidence for wealth, and then we kind of look at evidence for power, type of power. So let's continue on. Mali expanded its territory, influence, and culture over the course of 4 centuries. An abundance of gold dust and salt deposits helped to expand the empire's commercial assets. So again, this could be for the economy. This could be a light blue showing how they're accumulating wealth. Mali included the city of Timbuktu, which became known as the important center of knowledge. Mali also developed into a hub for the Islamic faith before poor leadership led to the empire's ultimate decline in the power and influence. So Islamic faith here, and we can kind of maybe look back and see, is there anything we can look for religion? Religion played a large role in Western African society. So anything we can kind of maybe show that as well. We might find some stuff in here that might work for that claim. The rise of the Mali Empire can be traced back to the Sundiata, or the Lion King, as some called him. After seizing the former capital of Ghana Empire in 1240, so seizing, taking, conquering, so that shows power by force. Sundiata and his men consolidated control while continuing to expand the Mali Empire. Oftentimes, the officers of his court wielded great power, which was crucial to keeping the empire strong during periods of poor leadership. So, leading by power, leading by having the right people in the right seats. Mali had kings called Mansa. The Mali Empire would reach a height of strength during the reign of Mansa Musa. So think about this. You have one person who's in charge, but then they have people acting in their behalf, kind of like hiring managers of a company. And so this is a way to kind of keep control, keep power, make sure things are going smoothly. Territorial expansion coincided with cultural advancements, particularly in architecture, and the empire flourished. So cultural advancement. So in culture, making improvements, advancing. So this could be society and culture. This could be highlighted in that blue. So as they expanded territory, they're seeing advancing in culture. Culture's changing in architecture. So the way they built things, designed things. And so you're probably will see more complex, stronger architectural buildings. Using his large army, so this is going to go back to power, okay, using in a variety of ways. Mansa doubled the empire's territory. Okay, so this is a great piece of evidence for politics and government being orange. This allowed the kingdom to enjoy the benefits of being in the center of trade in Africa. So this has a natural benefit. If you take over trade routes in Africa and you kind of have control of all the trade routes, or the main trade routes, you're going to be economically benefited from that. So this kind of covers kind of two different things about building wealth and then showing power in a variety of ways. So that economy, the West African empires became powerful through controlling trade routes. So that will actually help give evidence for that portion right there. In 1324, Mansa undertook a pilgrimage to Mecca, during which he spent and gave away all his gold. So here's a source saying that he gave all of it away. Um, who knows if that is entirely true? I've seen sources that said he gave a lot of it away. He still had some, and then within 100 years after he died, that everything was kind of lost, and he was taken, and then his kingdom was taken over. So as a result, stories of wealth of Mali kings spread far and wide. So this kind of goes with the video we watched yesterday. The Spanish cartographer Abraham Vasquez even featured Massa on the Catalan Atlas, a popular resource for European explorers. So this is a map that was used to get around this region. And this included the image of Massa wearing a gold crown. We saw that picture yesterday. This image would be a catalyst. It would be the kind of start for explorers to search for the city of Timbuktu in hopes of finding Musa's riches. So it kind of put Timbuktu on the map, well known for people to kind of go on treasure hunts, as you can imagine. Today, some believe he could have been the richest man in history. Islamic learning centers, schools, and universities are the grandest library in all of Africa, were a direct result of Mansa Musa's rule. So this is a society and culture is heavily influenced by libraries, university. When people are educated and people are learning, it definitely changes the culture. It enriches the culture. It raises the level of intelligence and wealth and just prosperity. So that can be underneath society and culture. And then you can also use this for evidence for politics and government, showing wealth or power, power by what was built, spending the money on the university. So that's why they were able to be built. It made Mali into a multilingual and multi-ethnic kingdom. So this is culture. Culture was changed. In the sense of it brought people wanting to go there from other places. It speaking multiple language and multiple ethnicities. And so a lot of wealth, a lot of salt and gold trade. It's going to attract people from neighboring countries and areas. And so the culture definitely changed to be diverse. So that could be evidence of showing diversity, society, and culture. Following Mansa Musa's death around 1337, the empire fell victim to declining influence around Africa. Other trade centers developed, hurting the commercial wealth that had once so freely surrounded Mali. Poor leadership set the kingdom on a path of civil wars. The surrounding Songhai Empire would conquer most of the Mali kingdom by the late 15th century, leaving little remaining of the once proud Mali Empire. By the 17th century, the Moroccan Empire occupied this area. So, a lot of good information here. So, go through, scan through, and start to copy and paste different things over to our source grid. So, for instance, West Africa was an advanced society. So I would make an argument that if they have universities that shows giving a higher education to the citizens of that area, that shows a society that's advanced. That's like a first world type of society where you have access to education. There's a lot of people in the world that there's no universities, no center for learning. So that would show this being more of an advanced society. So start to fill this in. And remember, the students, you have more information here, evidence and analysis. It's going to make it easier for our assessment. And for our assessment, I think I'm going to have you just choose 3 claims to give evidence and analysis for. So look at all these. You might not find much for something. That's all right. Make sure as you're putting your evidence in, tell me where you found it and cite it, so you can go back to that if you need to go back and look and get more details and context. So when you're done with this, if there's extra time, you can go back to any other work that you have for our class or any other classwork.